It's acrylic and gel nails here in sunny central Queensland. So what I'm doing this afternoon on this rainy horrible day is I'm finally going to get around to removing that polish I put on when we went away to Nimbin. As you can see, it still hasn't chipped, it just looks really bad because it's growing out. So I've filed the other hand, and I've got two different ways sorted out, set up to show you, to remove, and I'll explain which one I like better and why. And you'll see that, especially when I set my timer to explain it. So I've just used my cuticle nippers and taken off those rhinestones. I have an endurance file. It is 150, so I'm being careful. All I'm doing is just taking off the top coat on my nails, being careful not to file my natural nail, and this literally takes 2 minutes. So thumb done. Although for some reason my other hand that I pre-did seemed to go a lot quicker than this hand, but I am very right-handed, and I tell you what, I wish my hair would hurry up and dry so I could put it up, because it is so badly annoying me. And now you understand that when I'm working, I'm doing anything, my hair, I don't, I'm not joking about that rule I have about my hair being up. It's up for a reason, so it doesn't get filed, because filing it would rip my cuticles apart. Yes, your hair has cuticles, and when it's super damaged they flare out, because they're supposed to, on natural hair, sit nice and flush to the hair shaft. That's what split ends are flared out cuticles. So if any of you have the bad habit like I do, that you see a split end and you sort of rip it and pull it up, that's really bad. Don't do it. The only thing you can do for split ends is get regular haircuts. But back to nails. So again, all you can see is that all I'm doing is I am just filing off the top coat. So the gel polish will have a chance to, the acetone, sorry, will have a chance to penetrate in to what's left on my nails and soak it off without causing too much damage. Okay, so they're all done. I'll just get a dust brush and dust off all the dust. And I always dust off my dust because I can see on my thumb a couple of spots, and I found it's super important that those little spots can be the little spots, if you don't go back over like I am now and file them, that they'll be the spots that just refuse to move, which really annoys me. So, and the reason why I am doing it is it's now starting to lift up at the base at my cuticles. So and I've just been lazy, so it's time to go. So they're all filed and they're removed. I'm going to pause the camera, I'm going to get a timer, and I will be back. Okay, so I'm back. I have my timer and it is set for 15 minutes. I always set it for 15. I find 15 is better than 10. I have a base coat for when it comes off. I have a nail hardener in the gel, which is called Endurance, and I have a top coat. Because that's all I'm going to do with my nails at this particular point. So I have, as many of you use, or you use a tin foil with the cotton wool. I've gotten 6 of these because I always stuff one up. But I also have, this is a manicure bowl, but it has got slightly hotter than standard warm water in it. Now why I'm showing you this is I love this method, whether it's in soaking. What you can do, because you are soaking, is you could protect with a little bit of Vaseline or something before you put them in. I don't. I just, because I have that really good hand therapy, I use that. But I don't find it a big issue. So I've got some non-acetone in here. I am just going to wet my cotton pad, and I am going to start wrapping my finger. Now, I'm sure we all have our different ways we like to wrap. I like to be able to check to see that the cotton pad is well saturated and it's sitting on my nail bed. Sitting here thinking, gee, this is taking longer than it normally takes to do it. And I'm like, oh, that's right, you got an extra one out just in case you ripped one or made a fatal error, which I do. Or I find when I take them off to check at the end of 15 minutes, I need to replace one then. So I like to really make sure that that cotton wool pad or the cotton wool ball is really strongly, heavily saturated with acetone. So I'm squeezing and I'm getting the odd little bit of acetone squirting out. So I know that's really solidly covered, and I find if you really need to saturate really well to get the best coverage, those cotton pads. So like I said, in the bottom of this I have the warm water, and you have to be careful that you don't get the water, okay, into this top part, because it will dilute your acetone, which you don't want to have happen. Where'd that come from? So I have that. So I'm just going to put it here. Now I only put enough acetone because each little thing has its own well, so you could use your little peplin. You could suck it up and do it that way and make sure that it's only enough, but I am sort of so used to it that I have a fair rough idea of how much I need. So, and then all I'm going to do, as stand my hand in there. Now I can guarantee this hand is going to only take 5 or 6 minutes, so when I go to have a look at it, I will turn on the cam, I will stop my timer so you can see. It might take a little longer, I don't know. It is a very cold day here, it is winter over here. In summer I find, especially on natural nails, like if I was soaking off acrylic, 15 minutes is all I need. This doing it in the hot water, heating up the acetone, is fantastic. And in saying that, the water can be only as hot as the person can able to bear, because the hot water or the warm water that's in the bath heats up the acetone. So I'm going to get off from talking to you guys, chuck my hand in there, and I sort of need the hand to turn the cam off, so I will be back shortly. Okay guys, we're back and we're at 10 minutes and 48 seconds. I had to wipe my nail off a bit so I could press the timer off, so there's a bit of it already there. I'm just going to get an orange stick and I'm just going to gently have a bit of a push to see if there's anything else that... Nope, just that tip. Okay, so normally it's a little bit better than that, but it is a cold day, and as you can see, this one on this hand, it's not budging. It's nowhere near ready. But this has actually already lifted off, as you can see on my mat, bits of acrylic. I mean, not acrylic, gel polish. So I'll chuck my hand back in and I'll keep going. Okay guys, I took my thumbnail off at this point and I'll just wipe it on here so you can see it is not budging. But we're at 5 minutes 56, so I have had, and this hand's had more than 10 minutes, but we've had 10 minutes. There is a little bit actually coming up off the side on that particular nail. I'm going to get a cuticle pusher just because it's a little stronger. I'm going to take these out and I'm going to see what is lifting up off my nails. Now this is a little harder to remove than you may be thinking, and I've made it look a lot harder, but if you remember to the video, and if you go re-watch it, I did prime my nails first, and I used my acid-free primer and primed my nails to stop any chipping occurring, because they are natural nails, while I've had it on. Now this has been on my hands now over a month, this polish. Okay, so at 10 minutes that's not too bad, and I could get a block buffer and buff the rest of that off, but I'm not going to. I will just because they are my natural nails, I will put them back in the acetone and let them soak for a little longer, just to get that last little bit off, because I want to do the less damage as I possibly can. And I normally do one hand at a time when I'm doing it on myself, so having these foils on my other hand actually making it a little difficult, but that's okay. So that's 3 done. Okay. This one that I did the stamping on and did the baby boomer nail before I stamped on it, and this is like got 8 9 coats of polish on it. So it will definitely need more time, but again, that's mostly off. And then lastly, my pinky. Now NSI does say, their manufacturer does say that it's only 10 minutes for these nail foils, but I'll show you with my thumb. It is not going anywhere. There's a few little pieces, and it has been out of the wrapper fair enough for a bit, but it's not going anywhere. And if I do it properly and wipe the nail and pull, there is a little bit coming off this nail. And the primer does really adhere the gel polish more than you'd like it to the nail. So getting it off with acetone becomes a bit of a chore. So I'm just going to take these off because I'm not going to continue with them. They've had 10 minutes in there. What I will do to finish getting it off, because what I found with them is that it can be up to 20 minutes before I can remove all the polish, and I end up filing because I just get so sick of waiting, and that's not a good thing. So I will take it and chuck it in the acetone bath. And I don't know why, but my middle fingers come off better than the reds. Okay, so that's all I have achieved with the foils in 10 minutes, but that's what I've got in the acetone bath in 10 minutes. So I'm going to throw these out I'm going to get rid of my bits of polish. I will turn my timer on for 5 minutes. I'll get this hand done and then I'll do this hand and we will be back.